King Porus, A Legend of Past, Part 4th. This is my fourth lecture on the same poem. Since it is a big poem and I'm explaining you every line of the poem, so I need to cover it in parts. Now, as I had talked about the poem earlier also with you, in this poem, two main characters, King Porus and Alexander, they have been described. The heroic deeds of King Porus, they have been described, and Alexander was a great warrior. He was trying to subjugate the entire world. So he was covering the entire world under his feet when he came to India, and he wanted to invade India too. And he entered Punjab, which was ruled by King Porus, and this part of Punjab is now in Pakistan. Now, the poet Michael Madhusudan Dutt, he has been trying to describe a scene of warfare, and he has been trying to tell you that India was basically a peaceful country, and most of the kings over here were living a peaceful life, and they were not aware of the fact that they would have to face a great danger in the name of Alexander. Now, in some parts of the poem, the poet has tried to give you a brief description of the aftermath of warfare, as what happens after war, and how soldiers die or give their life in a warfare, and how Indian kings were, how peaceful they were, or how innocent they were, and how much rich they were, that even their elephants were decked with lot of jewels, lot of diamonds. Now this is the state of King Porus' kingdom also, and he is unaware of the fact that an enemy is marching towards his empire and trying to seize his empire. Now the last lines which we covered were like this: and lofty mountain pines lay low, amidst them dreadful havoc wrought, and thinned is crown and country's foe. Now somewhere the poet is trying to tell you that country's foe is sneaking into the country, and the kings over here are unaware of that foe, that enemy. Now he says, and hardiest warriors at his deeds, awestruck, quailed like wind shaken reeds. They dared not look upon his face, they shrank before his burning gaze. For in his eyes the hero shone, that feared not death, but high alone, a being as if of lightning made, that scoffed all that is gazed unto, trampling the living with the dead, the immortal thunder son. Now he is somewhere explaining you the bravery of the heroes, the bravery of King Porus, who fought this war very bravely, and he was a great warrior. Awestruck, quailed like wind shaken. Now, when the enemy faced him, they were shaken, they were awestruck, they were fearful of his presence. They dared not look upon his face, and his face was so bright that people could not dare, they could not dare to look upon his face. They were fearful to look into his eyes. They dared not look upon his face. They shrank before his burning gaze, and his eyes were burning with rays, and they could not meet his eyes. They shrank before his burning gaze. For in his eyes the hero shone, that feared not death, but high alone. He was so heroic, and his deeds were so heroic, that he never feared death, and he would meet his death as a warrior, rather run away from a battlefield. But high alone, a being as if of lightning made, and it appeared as if he was made out of lightning, and he was not a normal human being, he was a supernatural being, that he was some angel, or he was some god who had come from above to fight a war, that scorched all that is gazed upon, trampling. Now people who looked at him, they got scorched, as if they were under sun which was full of brightness. All that is gazed upon, trampling, they fell down, the living with the dead, the immortal thunder son. Now this person has been, Porus has been compared with a person who is living, the living with the dead. And now who is the only person who has been living here, and who is the only person who has supernatural energies in him, who is the only person who can be compared with a god, or who is so powerful, his might is so great that even a person when somebody tries to look at him, they are scorched by his gaze. The living with the dead, the immortal thunder son. Now he is the son of thunder, son of Indra, the god, who is a warrior god. Astonished eye, the heroic king, he saw him bravely charge like his dread father. Filming the thousands round him his closed. He stood as stand the ocean rock. Everywhere in the poem, marked, or it has been brought to the notice that he stood different, or he stood mighty in a crowd. He stood as if he is the only warrior in a crowd, and this is being observed by the other soldiers, by the enemy soldiers, and by Alexander himself, that this warrior or this king from India is different from others, and he is marked by his unique qualities. Now then, when we move, the poet says, amidst the lashing billows, unmoved at their fierce thundering shock, but when the Amethian conqueror saw that with gaping wounds he bled, desist, he cried. Now this has been observed by Alexander also, the conqueror. He has been called the conqueror. And he observes that his wounds are open, gaping wounds, his wounds are open, and he is bleeding. Who is bleeding? Porus. Porus has lot of wounds on his body, and he is bleeding. He says, desist, he cried. He wants this to be stopped. Who wants this to be stopped? Alexander wants this to be stopped. Such noble blood should not be shed. Alexander also observes that Porus has many noble qualities, and he is fearful that such a noble blood should not go waste, and he asks Porus to stop, or he asked his soldiers to stop fighting, and he somewhere asking Porus also to stop fighting, and he wants to restore his life. He wants that Porus to live, because he is also saluting such a hero. He is also saluting the bravery of Porus, and Alexander, being Alexander, he knows what is the value of being brave is, and he wants the warfare to stop, and he wants Porus to stop fighting, so that he could be he could be, as a king, he could be restored. His life should not go waste. Desist, he cried, such noble blood should not be shed. Then a herald was sent, where bleeding and faint stood midst the dying and the dead. Now herald is a messenger. Messenger was sent, and this messenger was sent for peace. Alexander wanted a peace between the two kings, and he did not want that any more blood on the part of Porus should be shed, and and he's sending a messenger to the bleeding and almost faint Porus. Stood midst in between the dying and the dead. Porus was standing between the soldiers who were dying and who were dead by that time, because soldiers from both the sides had fought very bravely. There was lot of bloodshed. Alexander realizes the bravery of Indian kings, and Alexander realizes the bravery of the soldiers, the Indian soldiers, and Alexander at the same point of time realizes the mighty war or the mighty resistance which was given by Porus, and he acknowledges this resistance, he acknowledges the courage of Porus, and he sends his own messenger to the battlefield, and he wants that the war should stop. This messenger brings peace, but Porus is almost faint, because he's fought very bravely, and his blood is being shed on the ground. So for this for today's lecture, we stop here, and we would be completing the poem in our next lecture. Thank you.